Be ready to change yourself. Be ready to challenge your better self. Know that your mind can develop a passionate winning spirit, but not by yourself. We guarantee your family in love with your life, and you're gonna love all the grind. Lewis and Bars together, we develop your mindset with vitamin C for your mind. Don't you settle with what you know. There's much to learn, there's much to earn. Tell yourself I'm ready to fight, ready to be heard. Out of success and awakening rise. There's so many words that turn into prices. Be ready to change for the best. Step up and be great. Don't be like the rest. Develop your mindset.
Okay, here we go.
All right, there you go. We're good.
Yeah.
It's not too hot right there?
No, it's not them. You know how these devices are when it got hot? It just shut up. I'm like, what happened? And yeah, it's cool now and back on. I'm in the shade, so I'll be fine here.
Nice.
Yeah, so man, just to go over what we were saying, a little summary. It's like we're gonna be talking about social media marketing, that kind of deal, because what I'm doing, what I'm going through, I know a lot of people are curious about this, and a lot of people want to know a little bit more, and here we go. We're gonna get on it. If you have anything to add to this, please go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's a very good topic to talk about, especially right now, since a lot of people are at home right now and they may be looking to expand their brand, online. And, this is probably one of the best options right now you have, even if you have already if you're just starting off, or you already have a business and you want to pivot into the online world. This is a good time to do it because there's just so much attention. Your customers are most likely online right now. And it's really a good chance to take advantage of this time and really try to put out your brand out there and get the attention that you need.
Yeah, I feel the same way because this is what I've been doing, and I've been learning a lot and posting, making videos, editing, and
I saw them. Yeah, they were good.
2 a.m. in the morning, I'm up just like editing, doing stuff. It's insane. You get so into it, once you start.
You do this with your phone, right? You're editing the videos with your phone?
Yep.
That's something you could probably talk about because I normally use a computer, but maybe you can talk about editing on the phone.
Yeah, there is this one software out there where you can use for free to do it. If you pay a little bit money, and then you can do even better work, better job. You just have to go. There's some internal music and a lot of effects that you can download for free or pay some money, download really nice ones where you can make even better videos than what I'm making, because I'm just like trying to see if there's something that I'm interested. I don't want to spend the extra if I don't have to, but if I do, then I'm going to even hire people or whatever, So that's something later, but definitely you can use your phone device to create video, to edit the videos, to write stuff, and then to post it, to go in the background and watch what everyone's doing, and go put keywords, and then follow people with keywords, all these other videos, why they're doing good, and oh my god, there's so much. So
there is
a lot of it you're going to talk about because you understand even more than I do. This is something new world for me, and this is very exciting. I'm all excited, and I just learned a few things. I'm going to ask you a few questions where you can put all this really good information out where people can actually use and raise their awareness up, brand up, and do better.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do this.
So we're gonna put this thing here, this full disclosure, where I'm not the expert, but I'm very, very curious on and interested to learn about this stuff. So I'm gonna ask all these questions where Luis is very, very good, and I consider him expert. This is his skill, and this is what he does for a living. And I'm going to be asking a bunch of questions to get some feedback, some knowledge, and hopefully it is going to help the viewers. And let's start with number one, which is like, how do you learn about social media and branding and marketing?
Yeah, so there's a lot of angles that you can take as far as like learning, and that goes for like any subject. It's not really particular to social media itself, but I mean, you can use books, you can use. My favorite way of learning is really through video, because I can actually see, and like but it really depends. Like when it comes to social media, there's specific things that you might want to learn, and so like you can learn as far as like paid advertisement, or you can learn about content creation, or you can learn things like these, so some of those things you will have to actually see for yourself. So video is excellent for those things, because you can actually see the type of software that the person is using, the steps that they're doing, the way they, maybe it's like copywriting, so then you can actually see the words that they're using in order to, capture their audience's attention and stuff like that. But you can really learn from like books, videos, courses. Courses are, I would recommend using a course. Like, I mean, if you're able to invest right away at the beginning, go ahead and use a course. But if you can't, then, go on YouTube. And YouTube is an excellent source for free information. And, perhaps it might be a little bit scattered, and a course, the good thing about a course is that it organizes everything for you. So you don't have to be, going through YouTube, going through a bunch of videos, and you don't really know what you're supposed to learn first and what you're supposed to learn second. And the beautiful part about a course is that it puts everything in order, from like, what you're supposed to learn first, and then, step by step, and plus you have the actual expert there, teaching you that. And so I think that's great, but you can learn from all these angles. You could also learn just by doing research on other companies. People, because like this is social media marketing, so pretty much all the big brands that they're doing it. So you can easily go to their social medias and start to do what they call the professional stalking, as they call it in marketing. And like you can just go ahead and go through other content and see what they're doing, and see break it down for yourself and try to understand like what kind of steps they're taking to make their social medias really good and effective, and really
I noticed that a lot of people don't have the time, especially when everything comes back to normal. We'll be working tired, coming home, but they all have this ambition of trying to start something, or to like do a little bit better social media, even though if they don't want to do any business or anything, but they just want to do a little bit better social media. And what kind of recommendation, or what kind of things that I can learn to help them to do better social media ads, or maybe not ads, but like pictures and videos, and like,
Well, first, try to focus on like what is it that you want to put out there. Like what kind of it really helps when you get very specific as far as your just doing social media in general. What kind of theme do you want to put out there, and for who? So really knowing your audience. Audience really comes first as far as like starting this whole social media thing, because it's all about the consumer. It's all about who's going to be receiving all of this content that you're putting out there. You have to realize this about social media, that it's not about you. It's about the people who will be interacting with your content. So you have to know that first. You have to see who you want to create your social media around for. Who do you want this content to go to? Because you can't be in this mindset where your content is for everyone. Like, I want to please everyone. I want to make everybody happy. I want everybody to interact with my stuff, because that's just not going to happen. As much as you would want that, it's not going to happen. There's going to be people who will not like your content, no matter how good it is. People will just not like it. They will just not connect with it, because it's not something that they like. So you have to make that choice of being like, but then there is people who are really going to like your content. So you have to make sure that those people who are going to love your content, you have to make sure that they're getting the best content they can from you. So that's what I would say. Really focus on who the content is going for who is your social media, and really try to just have fun with it at first. If you're just starting off, just create whatever is in your mind, get ideas from. I guess we can talk about that later, where you can get ideas for content. But just start taking action, and action taking is it's really the first step. Just start making some posts.
So before I go to the second question, what you just describing is like natural instinct of our behavior as a human being. We're always turned off by negative comments or negative way of someone telling you something. And what would you say about if someone leaves a comment, negative comment?
I think that's gonna happen all the time, man. No matter what content you put out there will always be someone who doesn't like it, and they'll leave some nasty comments and everything. And in my opinion, you shouldn't really worry about that unless that comment is actually, it has some context to it, and it's coming from someone who knows what they're talking about. Because most of these comments, they come from just ordinary, average people who aren't even taking action. They're just at home or somewhere, in their mom's basement, or they call it. But they're just posting all these nasty comments, and they just want to wreck your life, and they want to stop you from accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish in life, just because they're not courageous enough to do it themselves, so they want to take you down. So when somebody leaves a negative comment, just ignore it. Personally, I would say just ignore it, but you can take it in many angles as you want, but I would just ignore it unless it's like a very structured criticism that is coming from a professional who's actually trying to help you and trying to help you improve. Then you listen to those people and try to improve as much as you can. But if it's just hate and there's nothing that you can really act upon, then don't worry about because you can't please them. You can't please everyone. You can only please your audience, and that's who you want to please, people who actually interact with your content.
That is really good advice. On that note, let's move to the second question, which is how do you learn about social media branding and marketing? Actually, wait, I said that. The second one is what is social media marketing, and why is it important for people to know how to do it?
Well, you see, social media marketing is very different than just posting on social media and just being the average social media consumer. Because you see, when you're marketing, you have an intention in mind at that point. You're posting and you're creating content, you're making videos, whatever it is that you're doing on the social media, you're doing it with a purpose, and your purpose is eventually to get either to get leads, to get people to sign up for something on your emails, or to get people to buy your products, or to get people to share your content, whatever it is. But there's always an intention when it comes to social media marketing, as opposed to somebody who's just using social media for entertainment and to just enjoy what's on there, to look at the feed and to like a few things. When you're marketing, you have an intention in mind. You want the consumer to take some action, whether that's to just it could be for engagement, it could be just for the person to just like your picture, to leave a comment there, or you want them to go to a specific website, or you want them to use a coupon, or you want them to whatever it is. There's always an intention. And so the reason it's important is that if you're whatever it is that you're trying to do, like I said, there's an intention, so there's a purpose. So you have to keep in mind that mostly people who use social media marketing is because, they have some dream in mind. And the thing is that this dream cannot happen just on your own. You need people who can, contribute to that dream. And in order to do that, you have to grab these people's attention, and you do that with marketing. And then you do that with, you collect emails, and then with the emails, you're able to interact with these people, with your customers a whole lot more, a little bit more deeper, and you can give them even more content once they're in your email list. list and stuff like that. But like, you're really creating a community at that point when it comes to social media marketing, as opposed to somebody who's just using social media like that. They don't really care about creating a community. They're just looking for entertainment and to, blow some steam off and, stuff like that. But that's what I would say is the main difference here.
Right. All right. The next question I have for you is, why do we need to spend a lot of time learning about it, and do we actually need it?
Well, like I said previously, spending a lot of time, definitely there's a lot of time to be spent, and that's just, and I think it really comes down to how good you want to become at it, really. Because, if you want to become really good at social media marketing, then obviously you're going to have to spend a lot of time, learning about it. And the other reason why I would say you need to spend a lot of time learning about it is because it keeps changing all the time, tactics.
Yes.
And there's a lot of techniques and stuff that, it keeps on, the world is constantly changing. So you constantly have to keep yourself updated with the new stuff and see, what's currently working right now and what's not. And then there's a few things that are specific to each niche. Every specific industry has its specific techniques as far as social media marketing goes, and you have to learn those. You have to stay up to date with those. That's why you need to spend a lot of time, educating yourself and really learning this thing. And if you actually do need it, well, like I said previously, if you want to make a difference, if you want to use social media as a way to get your message out, if you want to, whatever your intention is, some people want to get their message out and they want to create a community. Some people want to create a community and sell a product. Some people want to sell information. Some people want to, give away stuff, whatever it is. If you have an intention, you need it, because there's a lot of people already on social media, and by you not being there, well, it kind of makes it a little bit weird, because like, if you're not on social media and you're trying to create this big movement, like, people are not going to take you seriously if you don't have social media, because they'll think that you're not doing enough. And if you're not doing enough, then people won't really take you seriously. They'll think that your cause, whatever your purpose is not that serious. And so people don't really like to contribute to things that, the leader themselves they're not, trying to do as much as they can to make whatever purpose that they have, happen. So you need it, of course, if you're doing that.
Yeah. So it's the two things. One is the algorithms are changing a lot, of course. So we hear this all the time. And what is algorithm? And the next is all these new social media are coming up. Like, for instance, last week I signed up to this new social media, Byte. I don't know if you've heard of it. Like I said, it's been changing so fast.
Yeah.
I just learned about this Byte, social media Byte, which you can put like 8-second small Byte videos, and people will go there, like it and share and put comments and everything. So I just signed up to it, and I have a bunch of videos there, and people are liking my videos and everything. 8 seconds, quick, fast. You could be doing 8 second, like 30, 40 in like a few minutes videos, and then you're out. It's crazy how the world is getting even faster, But you can touch on a little bit on algorithms and new social medias coming out, how fast things are progressing.
Yeah, so algorithms, as far as like social media, algorithms are really how, the social medias work on the back end. So like, how are they showing your content to the people that follow you? And so the reason why you want to, know exactly how the algorithm works is because that's really how the social medias are controlling the way all the content has been distributed to your audience. So if you're not aware of what kind of algorithm is going on and how often you're supposed to post and at what time, and really, what type of content and how much engagement that content has to get, you're kind of just you won't be as effective in your marketing, because you'll kind of just be making content and doing all these steps, but you won't be getting all the maximum amount of results that you can possibly get. And it's really not, it really comes down to that algorithm. Even though you may be doing everything right, you may be doing the right content, and you may have everything right, your funnels may be okay, and everything may be good, but if you're not aware of the algorithm, it could be that your audience isn't seeing your posts, and if they're not seeing your posts, well, then they can interact with them, and if they're not interacting with them, well, then you can't get them to do whatever your intention was at the beginning. So, it kind of throws your strategy of social media all over the place, and this might really frustrate you because, you may be working hard to create all this content and get everything going, and at the end, nothing's working. So, learn about the algorithm. It's definitely extremely helpful. That way, it gives you a small advantage over, other people who are not using it. So, definitely there's that. And the other thing was, new social media. So, I think it's just another outlet of getting attention, as far as new social medias go. So they're definitely cool. I mean, to try them out, of course. And the thing is that it's always good to learn about social medias. And I mean, what can I say about that? I mean,
that's crazy. Like, there's so many coming out, and who's going to make it big? So we just have to go try them all, I guess, if you're serious. So far it's really good information. I love it, and I have so many more questions for you. My next question is going to be, what are the mechanics of social media marketing?
Let's see, the mechanics as far as like how it works, or like...
I mean, a lot of people don't have too much time, right? So how does social media work? Where should they really focus on instead of like doing this whole shebang, this whole thing, where they're not really interested to be to do it first, or to become the professional?
So I think, so here's the thing about social media marketing. So at the end of the day, it is marketing. And the thing is that marketing itself is the way that you get attention. So what I would do is that, first of all, focus on whatever skill that you have right now. What is the ultimate skill? What is the ultimate value that your customer is going to get from you doing your marketing? Because I feel like a lot of people, they like to focus on the marketing way too much, but then at the end, they don't deliver. They don't deliver the product or the service that this entire marketing thing was promising. So what I would say is really focus on what value are you going to put out to the customer in the first place. So whatever it is that you do, are you a skilled speaker? Are you a skilled, let's say, jeweler? What is it? What kind of skill do you have? And then really focus on that skill and making it as best as possible. And once you're ready, once you feel like you have value to offer to people, that's when you really start with marketing. And the thing is that the way I would say that you should start is that you should start by really experimenting with your audience and seeing who is there an audience, is there a market out there for you that that is interested in receiving the value that you're offering. And so check it out. You can do this through research. You can look at the competition. You can perform surveys. You can ask for forms. You can give away free value. Anything just to see if people are actually interested in what you're delivering, or through this research, at least you'll find out what is it that they're looking for,
Right.
And so once you're aware of what people want and how you're able to deliver that, then that's when you can actually, then once you have established you have have established audience, then you can start focusing on, once you have that data, you can start focusing on the problem. You know, what problem are you going to resolve through your value? Because you may have all this value, but if it's not fixing a problem, if it's not making, you know, the customer's life a little bit better in whatever way, then people will not be that enticed to, you know, get your service or your product. So, you know, they really have to see that there's a problem and that you have the solution to their problem. So you have to find what that is, and then you just create content around that. You create content around that problem. You can create free content, and then, of course, you know, you can create free content that may help them a little bit, and then you can create a product or some sort of service that can give them the high-end help that they really need in order to get them. This high-end can be either you can produce better results for them, or you can get those results for them even faster than they can with the free stuff that you're already giving them. But that's really the mechanic of how it goes. You know, you have the problem, they have the problem, you have the solution, and you pretty much create content around how to fix that problem and everything. So it's kind of like a journey. You're kind of taking them through a journey where, you know, they realize they have a problem, and you start fixing that problem for them, and then there's like this big problem, because there's going to be a lot of like little small problems along the way, but then there's like this big problem that they ultimately want to fix. And so you're going to have the solution for them, you know, if they want to get that high end.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a lot of information, and that's a lot of strategy, how to start, where to start from, and what is the end goal going to be. And that's going to be a pretty long, organized journey, and you know, you got to start from somewhere. And this is pretty much the road to success. And let's go to the next. What is a funnel? We hear this funnel. And how does it work, and why is it important?
Yeah, so a funnel is, you know, as the name implies, if you guys know what a funnel is, it's pretty much like, you know, something, you know, it goes through something, and, you know, it's like, it's very wide, and then it just kind of narrows down at the end, at the bottom. So the way a funnel works in marketing is sort of the same. But the way it works is that there's the top, the middle, and the bottom of a funnel. And so this is sort of the journey that the customer will go through once they interact with you for the first time. So the way it works is that at the top of the funnel, that's really where you're trying to give them the free value, as we were talking about earlier. So, you know, they have these little mini problems, and you're fixing them with either, you know, you're giving away free content on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You're using all of this social media to give them, you know, just free content. And also, right here is where you're just really trying to establish trust. You're trying to establish trust, and you're trying to establish that you exist. So pretty much you're coming out of obscurity, which is one of the main problems from companies here, that, you know, not a lot of people know them, and if they don't know you, well, then it's kind of hard for people to just kind of trust you out of nowhere. You know, you just kind of appear out of nowhere, and but you're not really known, and people aren't talking about you. Well, then, you know, that's kind of yeah. So the top of the funnel is just creating content and just generating attention. You're not really trying to sell anything to the customer. You're not trying to get them to sign up to anything. You're just kind of telling them, hey, we exist. Here's something that can help you out. Here's a blog. Here's a tutorial. Here's, you know, whatever, step by step. Here, try this out. You know, just do it. You don't have to do anything. We're not in charge. Then there's the middle part of the funnel where, you know, if they like your free content, then you can start sort of like, you know, giving them like something called a lead magnet, which is, you know, you can give them something like a free resource, like something that, you know, that's even more valuable than the top things. But like they have to actually give you like their email address, or you can charge them a very small price, like $7, $10. But this is like the part where you're kind of getting them to invest a little bit of themselves, you know, as opposed to the beginning where they were just kind of like getting to know you. This part is where they get to invest, but they don't have to invest like a big amount of money in order to, you know, get to interact with your content. But they do have to make a small investment, which will get them to, show that it'll help them feel even more comfortable with you because, okay, you know what, let me give this person $7. I feel like I've gotten a lot of help from them. $7, what is that? That's almost nothing. And then here is where you're really trying to get, emails from them, and really your primary focus should be emails, as we're going to talk about later about email marketing and everything. But emails are really important in the middle of the funnel. Then the bottom of the funnel, that's where you sell your high-end stuff. That's where people already know you, they trust you, they've interacted with your social medias, they've interacted with your emails, they've downloaded your free resources, your free videos, whatever it is that you give them. And so now they may be more ready and more likely to buy something that's a little bit more expensive that you sell. And so, and like I said, that's really the basics of how a funnel works. Of course, it can get way more complicated, but that's really the basics of how it works. And the reason why it's important is because a funnel really makes it very easy to sort of take your customer through a journey. It's not really like all over the place, and it gives you as the marketer structure and a strategy that you can operate on, and it gives you something to work with, as opposed to just doing marketing randomly all over the place, and you're trying to sell too early, or you're giving away free stuff. You're always giving free content, and then the customer's like, all right, like, I like your free content, I wish I could buy from you, but you don't seem to have anything for me to buy, and so that's kind of a shame there. Or you may be selling too early, and like, I don't want to buy from you, I don't even know you, you just came out of nowhere and stuff. So that's what I have to say about the funnel.
That was very valuable. Seriously, the last part is amazing because after all, people buy from people they know.
What happened?
I just got a call coming in.
Everything okay? Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. After all, people buy from people they know, and it takes time. I guess the funnel is designed. You're going to design accordingly. What I understand is where people are going to start knowing you, people are going to start trusting you, people are going to want to buy product from you because they've been following you all through the steps, and they understand that you have something that they want, they need, and they're ready to commit. If you don't have the product, then obviously I don't see where this funnel is going. It's very, very important component of your social media, your branding, and turning it into profit, and actually giving the better value to your clients, to the followers that you have, right? So that is very important. Anything else about the funnels? Because very mysterious. People get into these funnels all the time, but they don't even know they are in the funnel. But also, we hear about funnels and no one really talks about it, but this is really good. I do understand now how the funnel works.
Yeah. I mean, I was in that place at some point. I was getting into funnels all the time. Before I even started studying digital marketing. But funnels are everywhere. They're pretty much the standard of everybody's company at this point.
Yeah. Well, so let's move on. Most likely, if we have time, we can talk about it a little bit more. But let's move on to email marketing. It's a method people use to communicate. I would like to know, how do you incorporate in what you do, or what happens?
Yeah, so email marketing. So like I said, in the funnel, usually in the middle of the funnel is when you're trying to get people's emails. And the reason why you want to get people's emails is because as opposed to all the social media marketing that we've been talking about, you see, when people interact with email, it's a little bit different than when they interact with social media, because social media, you have the feed, you have a lot of distractions that can be in the way of people interacting with your stuff, especially if your stuff if your content isn't as entertaining. It's very easy for people to just kind of glance by it, because it just doesn't, because when people go into social media, they're sort of looking to distract themselves. They're sort of trying to forget, the world out there. And so, if you don't create your content on social media around entertainment, then it's very hard for people to actually interact with it and take action from it. But when it comes to email, there's none of that. When people interact with email, it's very different. Like the mindset of someone when they're interacting with email is far more serious. It's like people want to see people are really looking to buy stuff when they're looking through their email. They're looking for because they're kind of used to companies just sending them like offers, like here's a discount, get this product at 20% off, or get this coupon, or get this thing for free, or whatever, sign up for this, or I got this new course for you, it has this and this, and it's email is sort of like that, and then there's also there's more seriousness around email than there is around social media. So the thing about email marketing is that it gets you the way you incorporate that into marketing is that from social media, you want to get them to email. And the way you do that is by creating some sort of a content on social media that'll get them to click and, take them to some landing page. And the landing page is part of the funnel. So a landing page is pretty much a page where it's very simple, as opposed to a website, which we'll be talking about how to build a website a little bit later. But a landing page is just one page that really, its main intention is for you to download something. There isn't as opposed to a website where you have a bunch of links, you can go here, you can go there, you can go so many places on a website. A landing page, it just has one purpose, and that's for you to download something, or to buy something at a very, inexpensive price. Or sometimes there are landing pages that are used for it to sell you very high-end stuff. But right now, you're just trying to get emails. So you can give them a free resource, like we said. You create content around some sort of problem. Let's just say, I don't know, for example, personal development. Let's just say somebody's trying to master their skill, right? And so, they're trying to get really good. They're trying to perfect their skill. And that's the problem, they can't seem to really understand how they can perfect their skill. Maybe they have a skill, they have a talent, but they just don't know how to maximize that or how to make profit from their skill. So you make a book or something. You make a free resource, something that can show them step by step how they can take their skill and monetize it and make money out their skill. Free resource, all you have to do is give us our email. And, people go there, they see the page, they see what this resource is about, they download it, they take value, and you take value as far as their email. Once you have their email, then that's when you can actually get more personal with them, because now you have their email. You no longer have to try to get their attention and have the algorithms that we were talking about. You always have to depend on the social media, showing stuff to them. You don't have to compete with the rest of the post anymore, because now you have their email address. Now you can just send them whatever it is that you got, whatever information, whatever resource you got, you can just email them and it'll go straight to them, and then they'll be able to, they won't miss that because it's on their email. So then they'll of course, you can, email marketing in of itself, you still got to learn how to create the email and what goes in the email, and how to create the subject line so that people actually open the email. But it's going to their email, and that makes it so much more personal, and so people are more likely to click it and actually buy from you now, because that's going straight to their email. And usually if you end up in somebody's email, then they most likely know you. They know who you are already, so they're more likely to just click the stuff that's in that email or go and buy whatever product or service you have. And so that's what makes it really powerful as opposed to social media.
Yeah, definitely it's a marketing yourself tool,
Yeah.
and it works. almost like in real life, you know somebody that likes that something that you've saw that it's on sale or something. You almost feel like you want to get your phone and call that person and be like, hey, I saw this thing that you really like, and then that's probably on sale, and like you probably would want to. Like,
Exactly.
email is like almost like you're letting that person know that person is interested in what you have. Yeah, it's almost working like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next question, which is paid ads. Why do we hear it all the time? And can you give me some explanation about why you need to do and pay for ads, and where do they appear? When do you pay for these ads?
Yeah, so paid ads is a way to it's really to pay these social media companies to get your content out there to more people. Not only to more people, but when you're running a paid ad, you have the ability, because you're paying, you have that ability to select specific people who are going to see your content, which is why I said at the beginning that it's very important that you know who your audience is, you know who your content is going out for, because it's really going to matter once you start doing paid ads, because you're already investing, you're paying for that attention. That's really what you're doing. You're paying for attention. You're paying to get seen. As opposed to when it's organic, you're kind of just letting the algorithms and the social media kind of do whatever it wants to do with your content. You kind of upload it, and that's kind of that. You just kind of have to hope that people see it. Of course, if you understand the algorithm, you might have higher chances, but it gets nowhere close to paid advertisement, because paid advertisement, you're paying, so you're making sure that people are going to see that content. But you want the right people to see that content, so that's why it's very important that you understand your audience and understand who your content is going for and who is going to benefit from it. That way you can target them, and it's the right people who see that advertisement, and that way you have a higher chance of getting your ROI, which is like your return on investment. Pretty much you're getting back what you're investing in your paid ads. Obviously, you don't want to lose money when you're running the ads. You want to get your money's worth. So in order for you to do that, you have to know your audience, and you have to create the content. Whatever ad you're creating, it has to resonate with whatever audience it is that you're trying to target. And of course, usually when it's a paid ad, you're trying to get something. You must have an intention once you're doing a paid ad, as opposed to when you're doing organic. It might just be you might not understand totally what you're doing, and you can get away with not having an intention, and you can just be throwing content out there randomly. When you're doing paid ads, you can't do that. You have to have an intention, or else you're going to lose all the money that you're investing into paying for ads. So definitely you want to create that content around your audience and make sure that that content will resonate with them. That way when they see it, they feel like, oh, like, ever get that feeling when you see an ad and you're like, oh, this ad is like, it was really made for me. Like, you don't even think about it twice before you click on that ad. You're like, yes, I want that. Let me go check it out and see what, I want to know more about this, So that's the feeling that you want to create in the consumer. Once they see your ad, they want to just be like, yes, this is for me. Let me see what else, more information on this ad. And as far as like where they appear, you can run ads on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and all these social media. They have very different ways of they're very similar in a lot of ways, but there's a few differences between all these social medias and the options they give you as far as like targeting. You can target people by their the country they live in, state, even city. You can narrow it down. You can do it by age group. You can do it by, the type of income that they make. You can do female, male. You can do so many things, on social media. So then the more you know about these people, the more you know about your audience, the more effective your ads will be. And the thing is, like, at first, you might not get this right, but you just got to kind of keep doing it until, eventually you'll learn exactly, who your audience is. And the good thing about that is that as opposed to organic, where you don't get that much data from your posts, when you do paid ads, you get a lot of data as far as like, who interacted with your post and, who clicked what and who saw your post. And you can see as far as like the averages, the percentages of like, people from this age to this age interacted more with it than this age. And so that's the good part about paid ads. But
So in this podcast, I'm not trying to find all the nooks and details about what we're talking about. We will do that another time. But I think this is a little bit, maybe I'm wondering that how much this ads cost, and because I hear all these things about sometimes the ad costs 10 cents, sometimes the ad costs 1 cent, sometimes it's free in halfway. What is really going on in this? Just to give a little bit of information out like that.
So the way it works as far as the payment goes, you can set a budget depending on like how many days. You can set a date range, like from this day to this day, I want to spend this much amount within that time frame. So you can say like between, let's just say Monday through Friday, I want to spend a total of just $100. So I want you to, so you tell Facebook, let's just say, you tell Facebook, okay, I just want to spend $100 within this time. So split the $100 between these 5 days and just do it however you want, And so Facebook will see that, okay, you just want to spend $100, then I would just spend $100. That's it. What you can do is that you can spend daily. So you can say, okay, you know what? I want to spend Monday to Friday. I want to spend $20 specifically on each day. As opposed to the other one where, maybe your ad is doing really good on Monday. So then like on Monday, it's like it's wasting a lot of its budget because it's doing good. A lot of people are seeing it. So then it kind of goes all to Monday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe it's like $5. But then you can say, okay, I want you to spend $20 per day from Monday to Friday. So then it'll spend, so then it'll spend those $20. And also, or you can just do it continuously, which is, something that most people do for retargeting. That's when, you just kind of spend $5 a day and you kind of just let that run and it'll continue running that ad, until you stop it manually. So those are the types of ways to run the ad as far as budgeting goes. Now, as far as like the cost per click goes, which is something they call the CPC. So the way it works, the way you're charged is based on, whatever your intention was at first. So there's different intentions that you can create when you're creating an ad. So maybe your intention is for people to click to go to a website, or maybe if you're doing a video, maybe your intention is for people to click on the video and actually watch it. Maybe your intention is for people to watch, from the entire video. Or maybe you just want people to watch it, halfway, or, stuff like that. Or maybe you just want people to just click on just like the picture, And so depending on what your intention is, that's how it'll charge you per click. So the way it works is that your click will be more expensive if less people are interacting with it. So the way a lot of people like to refer to it in the marketing world is that pretty much if your ad is not good and people are not clicking on it, or they're not interacting, they're not liking it, or they're not pressing on that video, let's just say Facebook, for example, Facebook will charge you more for your click because people they're not interacting with it. And if people are not interacting with it, that's a sign to Facebook that your ad, it's pretty much bad. It's a bad ad. And if it's a bad ad, that means that your ad is creating a bad experience for the consumer. And so Facebook would be like, hey, you know what? You're creating a bad experience for the people who are on Facebook here. We're going to punish you and we're going to charge you more. But let's just say that your ad is actually good and people are clicking and they're clicking and clicking. So then Facebook would be like, all right, it seems like your ad is good. People are clicking like crazy, and it seems like you're creating a great experience for users here on Facebook. We're going to reward you, and we're going to actually lower the price on your click. That way your ad gets seen even more times. So let's just say like you paid $20 that day for your ad to be seen. If your ad is not good, it may even charge you $1 per click, and all you're going to get, you're just going to be able to get 10 clicks maximum, let's just say. Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. If your click is $1, then yeah. I mean, you only get 20 clicks. My bad. Yeah, 20 clicks. And so, yeah. I mean, but if let's just say your ad is doing really well, then it can drop it all the way down to like, let's just say 10 cents, and then you can get 4 more clicks with $20 if your ad is good. As opposed to if it's bad, then you just get the opportunity to get way less clicks. That's why it's so important that that your ad is good and that it's targeted properly. That way people are actually clicking on it and you pay less. And you actually get more, and the thing about funnels is that, the more people interact with that funnel, the higher the chances are that you'll actually convert. Those people who see your funnel, you can convert them into either they can just become leads, you can get their emails, or you can get them to buy something. And so you increase your chances the more prospects you have going there. So, yeah.
Nice. That's a really good explanation, and we will do other podcasts to go a little bit deep into this mechanical whys and hows, and you can stop, you can start, restart, or everything. Let's go to the next. Looks like we have a lot of questions to go through. Most likely we're gonna do 2 hours today. As soon as the feed stops, we can jump to the next hour.
Yeah.
All right. So next is, what is digital marketing? How do you start, and what are the most important?
Yeah. So what is digital marketing?
And of course, this is all being about marketing.
Yeah. So digital marketing is pretty much, it encompasses everything. So it's pretty much the entire bundle. So inside of digital marketing, you have social media marketing, you have email marketing, you have retargeting marketing, you have all these types of marketing that exists, are inside of digital marketing. So that's pretty much everything there. And so inside of digital marketing, there's a lot of specific sections that you can focus on. And and that will pretty much, they're all important to some degree, so it can get a little bit overwhelming. So it's pretty much it's very helpful that you really take it a step at a time, and that you try to really understand everything and try to do everything for as long as you can. But really, your focus should be really to generate your leads and to generate some sort of money at first, so that you're able to, start growing to a degree where you can actually start to paying other people to start focusing on those specific sections. Because you by yourself, you can't do everything inside of digital marketing. That's almost impossible. Even the biggest brands out there that are doing digital marketing, they have teams. That's how big this can get. They have teams that take care of one specific area of their marketing. Like, they might have an entire team just focusing on paid advertisement. Then they might have an entire team focusing on organic and stuff like that. And so it can get very, very, complicated as far as like each section goes. So really, but it's very important if you're going to be like, if you're the owner of a company or you're the CEO or something, if you're in charge of all these teams, you need to understand what all of these teams do. And the only way to really understand that is to really do it yourself and understand what each of these teams is responsible for. So that way you're able to guide them in the best way possible. But as far as the tools here, well, there's different tools depending on what you're doing. I mean, if you're creating content, obviously, there's video editors, there's websites where you can create like really cool graphics. If you're editing graphics, you can use things like Photoshop. If you're creating logos, you can use things like Illustrator. And there's like a lot of apps that can really help you. I mean, as far as like, and then you can, of course, you have the social medias, which are like tools in of themselves. You can use those as, you can gather data there. You can use things like Google Analytics as well to gain a lot of data as far as your website is concerned. Who's going, what are people seeing, and stuff like that. And you can use also, there's apps that can, track the movement of the person's cursor and see, what are they clicking on. So, there's a lot of apps, and maybe we can focus on those individually, maybe in the next podcast, where you can go a little bit deeper into those and see what each one does, depending on what situation you find yourself in. And we're talking about the companies as well, like the companies that are teaching these sort of things.
Yeah, totally. If you can put out a few companies where people can get this kind of understanding value, what helps, what kind of companies maybe they can focus on learning to get starting to learn about this world of social media marketing, where it makes it or breaks it. It makes the difference in your what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to do that way. We can put out some maybe names or like companies where, or like show some path where people can go to get this kind of information, where it helps them out a little bit more. Since we're just talking overall what is social media marketing. So
so I mean, from the top of my head, I mean, the best company I can recommend is Digital Marketer. That's probably the one I would start with. That's really the one I started with, actually. Now that I really think about it, that's when I really started to take it like very serious, as opposed to before, where I was really good at just using the social medias, and I was kind of pretty good at doing a lot of these things, but it wasn't like organized until I saw Digital Marketer, where I could kind of put all that knowledge into effectiveness. It was just more effective because it had a purpose. Now it had an intention, as opposed to before, where I just kind of had the knowledge, but it wasn't going anywhere. It was just me. I just kind of knew how to post. I knew how to do this. I knew how to do that, but it was like it didn't have an intention. It didn't have a purpose. So Digital Marketer, definitely, I think it's one of the friendliest type of resources that are out there. And what I like about Digital Marketer is that they have a lot of instructors there that teach, all the marketing. So here's the thing, everybody's different, and everybody resonates with a different instructor. So what I like about them is that they have a lot of instructors, and maybe there's one instructor that you may not really like. You're gonna have a hard time paying attention to that instructor. So you might need somebody who's very loud, very charismatic, or you may need to listen to someone who's very technical, but that's not very energetic. Or maybe you need somebody who's very energetic, who's always putting themselves in this very aggressive state. Or maybe you need somebody who's very blunt, who's very aggressive, and just kind of tells it to you how it is, and that uses bad words and stuff. Maybe you need somebody like that. And so the thing is that I'm telling you who I really used the most, and that was Digital Marketer. But there's other ones. There's people like and the thing about that company too is that they're associated with other marketers as well, and so that company can really transition you into another instructor who may be really good as well, and who's also doing marketing. Like another one is Billy Jean. Billy Genius Marketing. I think that guy is great. He's a great guy, and I just have a good time when I watch his videos, like, because I learn a lot at the same time. Like they make me laugh just because of the way he talks. It's just because he's very blunt and very like straight to the point, and he's just like no filter type of guy. So if you're that type of person who can resonate with someone like that, then go watch him. But if you need somebody who's a little bit more nicer, then maybe the guy from Digital Marketer, Ryan Dice, he's a little bit more professional, more like polished, and he's more clean with his language. And so they're both very extremely smart, but their way they deliver the content is very different. So I think it's very important that you connect with the way they deliver the content, because that's the way you're going to understand it. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would say about that.
Yeah,
and
I know you've done a lot more other courses, but
yeah.
So it's been great. It's been very knowledgeable. I've been doing this, studying, learning so much, but when you dive into it really deep, there's so much to know. But this is the thing. Once you understand, it's just like becomes second nature, and you start doing it, and just like how you said in the beginning when we first started, you just have to do it, and you start doing it. Once you understand, you get the knowledge how it works, and that's what I'm getting from all this. It's really, you're gonna jump into it and just start doing it. So there's so many more questions I want to ask, and I really want to establish the whole, the frame of what is social media, and I want to just dive into it and go with it. So my next question was going to be, what is marketing? What does it mean? What do you do with it, and do you need to spend money on it, or if there are free versions of doing the marketing, all these kind of things, like when it comes to apps, creating, marketing, and all these kind of things, because it's very confusing. People think if they don't spend money, this is not going to work for them, it won't work, or some people, they don't want to spend any money. Would it ever work if you don't? This kind of like little bit of touching on this topic.
Yeah, so marketing, to me what marketing is pretty much you're trying to generate attention. And that's really the main goal of marketing, is that you're trying to get people interested in whatever is about to come next. So the way I see it is that marketing comes before any sort of sale can be made. And marketing is really like it's really you're putting out the best of whatever it is that you got, and you're trying to make it engaging for the customer. You're trying to make it engaging for whoever is going to consume your content. You're really trying to generate that attention and trying to get people to really notice you and see you. So that's really what marketing really is. And really, there's different ways to go about it. You can make content that's very entertaining. They can get people to, maybe it's a video, you're trying to get people to watch the entire video, or maybe it's a piece of content that's very shareable, so you're trying to get the people to share your content. Whatever it is, you're really trying to generate that interest. You're trying to get people to engage with it. And so that's really what marketing is all about. And as far as like needing to spend money, you don't need to spend money really on marketing, but I mean, eventually you will, depending on where you are as far as like your marketing journey goes. At first, you don't really need to spend it, because, and actually you shouldn't spend money, because if you're just starting out, you don't quite understand marketing just yet. You don't know what generates attention, you don't know what doesn't. You're probably still, finding new ways to create your content. You're probably still getting adjusted to the software that you may be using, and you're still not very used to things. And so And the thing about, paying for it is that once you start paying for to be advertised, you're sort of stepping into the professional realm already. You're sort of stepping into, into a territory where people should consider you seriously. And if you don't already have experience with marketing, if you don't have your content established, if you don't have a funnel yet, it's kind of pointless for you to start paying for marketing, because you're going to be generating all this attention, but then when people get exposed to your brand, they might not, if you don't have your marketing together, they might not be very pleased with that, and they might be like, oh, this person is just kind of starting off, or like this person isn't taking their thing seriously, and so you don't want that to be their first impression. So the thing is that you should start off, just doing whatever you can do for free. Start putting out content for free. Start putting out value out there for free. Because when it's free, people don't really look at that. They don't really look at the fact that, they don't really analyze you as much, because everything that you're delivering is free value. So there's no investment from their part. They can just easily interact with your content and just leave as if nothing happened. So, but when you're trying to, ask people for money, which is, something that you might want to consider once you're paying for ads, because you're already spending money, so you might want to get that money back. And the way you get that money back is that, you sell them something. And so once you're paying and you're selling, then that's when people will start to look at you a little bit differently. Be like, all right, this person wants me to invest money in them, want me to buy their stuff. I'm going to do more research on this company and their brand and their social media standing and everything. And if that stuff is not in place, if you don't have content to show these people, if they just say like you're trying to sell them something and your Instagram feed only has like 5 posts, I mean, they're not going to take you very seriously. And so, or if they see that your Facebook page isn't like quite updated, doesn't have all the information, it's missing stuff here and there, you don't even have a phone number or something like that, or your content just doesn't seem to be that great, then people are they're not very likely to buy from you, because you seem like an unorganized person, someone who doesn't know what they're really doing. And so and you don't want that to be the first impression, because if that's the first impression they get, it's going to be, you're going to have to spend a little bit extra now later on to get those people to really take you seriously later on when you are more serious. So definitely start doing it for free. Start putting out content, start putting out, free value. And once you feel like you have a good hold of your marketing, you understand it firsthand, not just in theory, not just by learning it, but you've actually implemented everything that you learned, and you're very comfortable using the software and everything, then that's, I think, that's when you should already start to pay, because now you understand how you're gonna pay for attention, and you know exactly what to do with that attention. You know exactly where to drive them next. It's as far as it's almost like you're putting out let's just say you just know what's gonna come next, as far as the journey goes, to put it in simple terms. You can kind of relate this to almost sort of to attraction as well. You're trying to you know exactly what you're gonna do next, as far as you get a gross number or something. You know what you're gonna do next with that number, and if you're not a professional, if you don't know what you're doing, then if you just get that number and then you don't know what's next, then it's kind of pointless that you got the number, because you don't know what to do with it. As opposed to somebody who's already been, doing it, you know what to do next, and that ensures that your customer is getting the value that they're gonna get. So you're pretty much doing this for the customer, not for yourself. You want the customer to get the most amount of value. So definitely start doing it. Start doing free marketing. There's a lot of tools. There's a lot of things that you can use out there that are already for free. You can create content with them, and that will help you, get to your journey.
Yeah, I've been discovering that quite a few softwares or apps or all the social media, they have all their backgrounds where you can go and work on your SEO and keywords and targeting and so much. But if you like doing that, if you're serious, it's very like it's made to any human brain to be able to figure this out. You know.
Yeah.
And so it's great like that.
You know, that software you're talking about, that's the fun in of itself if you think about it, you know, because these companies, you know, they're trying to get you to pay for their software, but they don't want you to pay for their software right away, so they'll give you a free version that gives you some of their, you know, you'll still get value because you still get to use the software, you still get to have some sort of like experience with it, but if you want to get like the maximum amount of experience, and that's when you actually pay for it. And so, you know, that's a fun one of itself right there. You know, that's a good example of that.
And the next thing is like usually every software goes 3 steps. One is like they give you the free, and then you buy to use the tool. But if you want to become the expert of the software and ask them questions about it, then that's the third step where you pay a little bit more.
Exactly.
And that's really good though. You know, if you're going to use it and you're going to get the value out of it, then whatever you're going to invest into your projects, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's get to the next. Can you measure yourself, your progress, your videos, content, and how you do that?
Well, when it comes to content, you know, there's different metrics that you can check for your content. You know, it depends on where you are, like in the funnel, as far as your content goes. So if you're like at the top of the funnel, then maybe, you know, your metric for the way you measure if your content is good or not, it may be just based on people just liking your content. You know, if they hit the like button on your whatever, your picture or your video, whatever it is, you know, that might be enough for you because you're at the top of the funnel. You know, you're just trying to get people to engage with your content. And the way you really check it is that you do a division from like the number of people following you on that specific social media. You divide that by the number of likes that you're getting through your posts, and that sort of gives you a specific percentage of the number of people who are actually liking your content based on the number of followers that you're getting. So pretty much, you know, you want to get at least a pretty high percentage. You want to get maybe like half of your followers, 50% and up of people actually interacting with it. And if you're getting more, then that's even better. But like, yeah, so you can be checking your metric like that. But let's say like, so that's like the top funnel, so pretty much engagement. Then there's the middle of the funnel, so then the way you measure that is that perhaps you want your content to actually take them to a landing page and you want people to download something. So then your metric now is based on the downloads that you're getting. It's not really measured on the number of likes your content is getting anymore, but it's like how many people are clicking and going over there and actually downloading the free resource that I have for them, you know. So that's the new metric now. And then you can have a different metric for the bottom of the funnel. If you're trying to get them to buy something, then you look at your content, you know, and see like, all right, you know, your content may be driving them to a website where you're selling them something, and you know, now your metric is how many people are actually buying that thing. So, or like adding it to the cart and not doing it, or you know, your metric can be just how many people are clicking and going to the website. You know, there's different ways you can measure it, but it really depends like what your intention is with that content. So that's why it's so important that you know where you are in the funnel, and you know, why are you creating the content? Is the content for people to just engage with it? Is the content for people to actually click and go somewhere? Is it for people to share the content? Is the goal for them to buy something with that content? You have to be very clear as to what your intention is before you even create the content. Because I think something that happens is that people tend to get very creative, you know, and creativity is awesome. It's a beautiful thing, you know, to be creative. But sometimes, you know, your creativity can get in the way of the intention, and so you might get way too creative with the content to the point where it starts to lose its intention. It starts to lose the reason why this content even exists. So you may have like a very cool looking piece of content, a very, very cool video, but if that's not driving people to go and click somewhere. If people are just stopping, let's just say the intention is for people to go and actually download something, but all people are doing is just watching your video, then that's not very good, because then that means the content was good, but it wasn't good enough for it to actually go and produce results. So then you might want to change the content, or maybe move the content up to the top of the funnel if it's performing like that, if people are really liking it. But just make sure you have a good balance of creativity and intention. Make sure those two are like in sync. Make sure you're creative enough where the content is really cool, but also that it does what it's supposed to do. So
just recently, I'm immersed into learning this social media world, and I just came across to this one software. I forgot the name of the software, but you put this something IQ. What was it? You put like some video in that software, it will tell you who's clicking on it, what kind of like the keywords. It will show you the keywords which keyword is getting most of the watched, and you can make a video recording of everything that you try to gather that information about the specific thing that you want to. There's so many tools out there. Like, we will be talking about this stuff later on to other podcasts, but but there's so much.
Is a vidIQ, and that's a software for like YouTube marketing. So the YouTube marketing is a whole. It's a thing in of itself. But we can definitely go deeper into it later on.
So let's move on with the surface questions, where we're getting raising our awareness about this marketing strategies and social marketing. So next question: do you need to do marketing for your product or social media all the time, or can you have an automatic marketing solution, and if there is, what are they?
So I think it really depends on your product, like what kind of product you're selling. I think most products could be sold online, or at the very least, I mean, there might be some services that you just can't offer. Like there's probably services that can only be done if the person actually goes to the place. People have to actually go to a specific location, or they have to go to the store to get this. So in that case, when that's the case, maybe your bottom of the funnel could be it could ultimately be the bottom of the funnel could be at the store. It could be at the at whatever location it is. So then maybe your top of the funnel maybe you have a couple blogs that talk about it, and then the middle of the funnel could be like people setting up an appointment, to show up somewhere, and then the bottom of the funnel could be them actually showing up over there, and you give them the whatever service that you promised them, and that's when you close the funnel there. So I think, you definitely do need social media marketing. I don't see why you shouldn't. I mean, even if you don't sell a product online, you can still generate that awareness. You can generate that that attention online, and then you can drive that attention to people actually showing up at your store, or showing up at whatever location it is that you're giving them that product or service. So definitely, you don't need the marketing, because why not? I mean, it's attention, and ultimately, unless for some reason your customers are not on social media, which I don't know what kind of customers those might be, but I think that would be the only exception. If your customers are just not in social media at all, then at that point, then maybe you don't need to use marketing at all. But for the most part, everybody's customers are on social media. So
how many millions of people there are on Instagram, or how many millions are on Facebook?
Yeah, so definitely, like, there's a lot of them. So definitely, I don't see why you wouldn't want to take advantage of that. There's already that much attention already available to you. You just kind of have to take it. So, and can you have an automated marketing solution? Well, there's a lot of software that can help you, that can automatically do the posts for you. And of course, you can always outsource your marketing if you yourself can't do the marketing, or you just
what is the best internet access where you can have other people outsource
your marketing? If anything, if you're just starting off, I'd recommend Fiverr. There's a lot of freelancers there that are already they're looking to make a little bit of money. It's not that expensive, and you can have them do amazing jobs for you. And you can pay them specifically to do something. If you need help with SEO, you can hire someone there to do specifically SEO. And if you need paid advertisement, you can hire someone to do paid advertisement for you. And once, of course,
one more time, the name of that
Fiverr. Fiverr is Fiver. And that's pretty much where you hire these small freelancers who are just looking to make a little bit of money. And so now, of course, you get what you pay for. So, but if you're just starting off, I think it's a great option. Then once you're growing, once you're making more money, and you can afford to hire an actual marketing company, because there's marketing companies who can do your entire marketing for you. You just pay them a specific fee, every month, and then they can take care of all your marketing solutions and everything. But be very careful with those, because most of those are just sort of they're just charging their fee, but they're not actually they're not aware of what kind of business you're running, so they might have a brief understanding of it, but they're not you. So make sure that if you're going to hire a company like that, make sure they're actually interested in your business, and they actually ask you a lot of questions as far as what your business is about. And because this is why I said that it's very important that you, as the CEO or the one in charge, about this stuff, what digital marketing is, because even if you hire someone, you're going to have to tell them exactly what you want done. You have to tell them all right, I want to create this type of funnel. I want people to go from here to here. I want people to see this type of content at the top of the funnel, in the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel. So this company has to understand what that is. That way they can create the best content for you, because you don't want to be paying this marketing company and then they're just kind of doing posts that are kind of random, and you're not getting anything worth from it. You're not getting customers. You're not getting whatever it is that your intention is. So, but they can be very helpful. If you can already afford to do that, definitely hire someone like that. Or you can always hire someone to be someone inside of your company and just do it with you in there. That way you have access to your marketer all the time. That's pretty much what I do here. And that way you can interact with the CEO, firsthand, and that makes it even more. The proximity there is just so much better. But it really depends, But you can definitely have somebody else do it, or you can automate it yourself. There's softwares that, like I said, that can post for you and do a lot of the things for you.
For sure. I definitely, doing this last 2 weeks of learning about social media and everything, even more than I used to know, what I used to know, I realized that if you are going to be successful company as a CEO, as running a company, you have to be the person doing it. You have to be the front man. You have to be the content, to create everything, and have people helping you out, how to create the content, but maybe you create the content and they help you to market the content and create the videos for it and that kind of deal. But we know all this Gary Vee, crank out the name, they are the mark, they are the people, they are the brand, right? And then they have all these people creating for them all their videos and editing and everything, like the voice and the cameras and everything people. But end of the day, you are your company face, and you have to be involved in it 100%. You know,
Definitely.
otherwise it's not going to work. No one's going to come do it for you. So this is what I really, really am waking up to it. You know, and then that's why I'm been pushing myself into like really learning about all the skill that it's required. You know, skill sets.
Yeah.
So it's very, very important to really understand this part, because if you don't, you'll be like, well, I can spend money to do this. It's not going to work. It won't work as well as you would think it's going to work. So that is very, very important. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, next question. Let's go industry experts. Who are some of the people that you can tell us people can follow to see experts, how good they are, marketing, their names, their, like, who these people are, that some, like, we can get some understanding what to look for. Companies like influencers, and give us some examples. They're successful, why they're successful, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so the thing about right now is that, you know, as far as like industry experts that are growing right now, it's like it can get very confusing because there's just so many of them at this point, and like, and some of them aren't even like truthful. You know, there's some out there who are just trying to like really just take your money and kind of run off, and you know, you kind of screw you over. So you really have to be careful as far as like who you listen to. But like I said, you know, previously, like, well, one of the greatest examples I can give you is really Digital Marketer, and the reason why I really like that company is because that company itself, like, it doesn't just do marketing. Like, they actually run like other businesses like outside of that marketing, which I think is extremely useful, you know, because a company that just solely focuses on just teaching you how to do marketing, like, you know, it gets a little skeptical, like, because, you know, how can you verify that their stuff actually works? You know, so one of the things that you should check is you know, if they've actually, you know, implemented everything that they're teaching, if they've actually implemented it themselves. And the best way to really check that is to see if they actually have like other businesses that they're running that are not marketing, and that they're still successful using the things that, you know, that they're teaching you. So definitely things, you know, people like Digital Marketer is great. I love it.
What other comes in mind is VaynerMedia.
Oh, okay, VaynerMedia.
Gary Vee.
Yeah, Gary Vee. Again, Gary Vee is awesome too. I think he's great. He's a great guy, and like his model is more like on just giving you free content, and that's a great model as far as that goes. The thing about and Gary's books are really good too. Like I definitely recommend Gary's books. The thing about Gary Vee though, I listen to him. It's just that I just feel like his way of teaching is not very. It's very generic. Like, it's not. Like, he gives you tips and he gives you like, you know, he gives you good ideas, but I think like he never. I feel like it just doesn't get very specific as far as like marketing goes. I feel like he's more like a business and entrepreneurship. It's almost like, yeah, like he's giving you almost like an entire scope of things, you know. So I think it's great if you're already like in this, if you already have some experience and you're already like in this business world, you've been in it for a little while. I think you can take a lot of value from Gary Vee. But if you're just starting off, it might, you know, it might sound like because his energy is crazy. It's really good, you know, like the way he teaches, the way he presents, and the way he delivers content is very like, you know, it's it's hammering you, and at the same time, the guy's very blunt and very like straightforward type of dude, and like he's just very like no filter guy. So like I said, if that's the type of guy you resonate with, definitely is your guy. But the thing is that like I said, he's very like just very business, very like all over. He's just everywhere. The reason why I like digital marketer because it's just more specific on just marketing itself.
I did sign up with them just recently again, and the content there is in that website is unbelievable. It's so much information, so much you can learn from. It's just mind-boggling. When you get through that website, it's like you feel like you're. I felt like I'm like. I needed to ask myself, like, is this something you really, really want to do? Because it's so big, it's so precise, so incredibly, like, it's like going to a university. Yeah. It's crazy good.
Yeah, that's why I love digital marketing.
And then with no way or shape or form we're associated with that. We just love that product, Yeah.
I like Billy Jean too, man. Billy Jean is really good too, and I like him too because he also focuses on marketing and so too. Well, actually, he's more like he does marketing, but he also does sales. So I think it's a very good way to learn like both. Digital marketer also has a little bit of both as well, has marketing and sales.
They're selling their product to you. If you buy their product, then they're really good salespeople. Then you want to learn from them too, Yeah. Is that crazy? And they're so smooth, you don't even feel like you bought something from them.
Exactly.
And you're happy to buy from them.
Yeah. I think that's something that they talk actually in their products. They talk about like eliminating buyer's remorse. Because there's people who buy things and then like they're excited about buying it, but then after they buy it, they kind of feel like this feeling of remorse, like, oh man, I shouldn't have bought that. What am I doing? But they have strategies, to make you feel like you just made a good purchase, and the way they do that is that they still give you value even after you bought the product. They still give you value as far as like how can you use what you just bought, like how can you use it to, make the most use out of it. So we can talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll dive into that kind of world later. Another podcast. There's so much to talk about. I mean, we can talk about just about YouTube for like 3 hours, and it won't be enough. But we're going over everything here. Let's jump into the next one, which is like videos and pictures. How important are they for social media? Do you need to learn how to edit and make videos and pictures and social media? And is that something important to invest time and learn? Time is money too. So.
Oh yeah. Definitely. How important they are? I mean, they're extremely important. I mean, like, that's really the way people interact with social media is through videos and pictures, It's also through text. I think that's another thing that you should learn, which is you should learn how to write. There's the way it's called in the digital marketing world is that it's called copywriting, and that's when you write. You write sort of like persuasively, to get people hooked, to get people interested. And so that the way that takes place in social media, it's usually through the caption, like on Instagram, you have like that caption, the bottom part of the picture. And so I think the most effective way to really do this is to really have a combination of all. You really should have a combination of the three. You can make a video that has pictures in it and that also has some copywriting in it. And so you do a crazy combination of all those three, and you definitely have like the best chance to really, get the objective done. Whatever your intention is. Like I said, intention is so important. And I think a lot of people forget, like something simple as intention. I've been saying it over and over again in the podcast. Like intention is intention. Like it's super important. You can't just be creating content for the sake of just creating content for it to look cool. You got to create content that has an intention. So, So like, how important, like I said, it's extremely important. And do you need to learn how to edit the videos and pictures? Of course, but that's definitely, you're gonna have to learn it at some point. If you're gonna do it yourself, of course. Now, like I said, you could always hire somebody. You can hire someone from Fiverr, once again, to edit those videos and to edit those pictures for you. But you could do it yourself and save yourself the money and actually learn it yourself. You can save yourself a couple dollars. And but you have to really consider this, like if because sometimes it might be a better idea if you just have no interest in learning how to edit. You have you're really like very certain that that's not your thing. Then it might be a good idea to really just pay someone, because if you are forcing yourself to edit and to do something you don't like, and if you have no intention whatsoever to learn it, you just might end up just wasting time. And remember, time is extremely precious. So, you could be using that time to do something in your strategy that you do like and that you're actually good at. And so why would you want to be wasting time, learning how to edit if you don't have no intention of doing that in the future? So definitely learn it if
that's a good business.
If you're passionate about it, definitely, put in the time to learn it, because, you'll save yourself some money, and at the same time you'll understand how it works. But if you really have no intention, you can always outsource it and save yourself the time. And like I said, it's definitely worth it to invest the time, because it is an investment, later on, if you're able to create your own videos, make your own, pictures, you can edit them yourself, and you can write the text, the copywriting, you can do that yourself as well. Well, then, in the long run, you can save yourself both. You can save yourself time and money if you can do both, because you'll save yourself the time because you have the experience already to do it, and the money because you won't have to outsource it to anybody. You can just do it yourself. And the time, obviously, if once you come up with the idea and you have the experience, you can go ahead and do that, and you can finish it within a few hours or something. As opposed to if you outsource it, who knows how busy, the person you're outsourcing it to is. They might be busy with other projects, and so, your thing might take like a week for them to make it, and by that time you're losing time. You might be losing money, because you can't get that content out there to your customers. And so that's something that you really have to think about as far as your business model goes. But it's definitely something to invest time if you want to, if that's something that captures your attention.
Yeah, like one experience I really, really recently had was like I created this beautiful template on to go all over my video. And the second time when I went, I was like, wait a minute, I can use the same template, just change the text and have this go in 5 minutes instead of 4 hours. And then that's what I did, because I would really like to have my templates look about the same, so it's the familiarity is there, where people see, they recognize, they want to click on it without even reading anything on it, So so once you create a bunch of templates and a bunch of stuff that you're using it, you can reuse it and then change the text and everything. So that's one other thing I realized, that it's good to invest that first 4 or 5 hours of designing something and then going back, putting in 5-10 minutes.
Definitely, that's something very important that you mentioned right there, which is like having like that, like making all your content very familiar. I think that comes like after you already started, because at first you may not know like what kind of content you want to create, so there's going to be a lot of experimentation. But once you kind of have a hang of it, you know exactly what kind of content your customers interact with, and you know exactly what that content is. Then you start creating like you said, you start creating like templates and things, so that all the content has some sort of like it's like a uniform, like it's all you put a uniform on your content, so that people know that when they interact with it, they know it's from you all the time.
Awesome. Yeah. So let's move on to the next. Is a website important? And how do you build a website? What tools could you use for templates, and what are the steps to build a website? Is it important?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're selling like multiple products on online, then definitely you need a website. It's extremely important if you're going to be selling a lot of products online. However, if you're not planning on selling a lot of products online, then it might be better if you just created landing pages like we spoke about, which is sort of like, it's meant to be sort of like the future of websites, because you see a website can have, like I said, it can have a lot of products. It can have a lot of things to click on, a lot of places to go to. And so for some people, that may be a little bit overwhelming because they have a lot of options. They have a lot of things to click on. They can click there, that. And, it really depends on what your business is, I think, at that point, and what your intention is as well, Well, what do you want people to do in your website, So if you really want people to explore your website and you have a lot of things to offer, to your customer, then I think it's a great idea to have a website because, you can give your customer a lot to see. But if you want your customer to just focus on one thing, you want them to download this one thing, you want them to buy one specific product, you don't want to overwhelm them with a bunch of things that you can offer them, then it might be better to do a landing page. But definitely a website is important when the intention is there, when the website supports whatever intention you're trying to accomplish. And as far as like how do you build a website, well, these days you don't really have to do that building yourself. There's companies out there such as like WordPress, Squarespace, Wix. These websites, you pay them. Well, WordPress is free, but Wix and Squarespace, they charge you a small fee, but they all pretty much work the same. They kind of give you can use already like a pre-made template, and then from that template you can start customizing it according to whatever your business is. And the good thing about that, is that you don't have to like build this yourself. You don't have to do the coding or know any of those coding languages like HTML and all of this stuff. Back in the day, that's how you kind of had to do it, and I had to go through that myself as well. So I know what it's like to having to, knowing all that programming language.
There are softwares to build websites.
Yeah. So back in the day, you can make a lot of good money, just by, knowing how to do all that coding and learning how to, knowing how to make a website. Unfortunately, I didn't know anything about business at the time, so I kind of missed that. I missed that training, but because I do know these programming languages, but anyway, going back to the topic, you already have all these websites that offer you that flexibility to just be able to, drag and drop things into the website, and you can have a website up and running in just a few hours, really, if you really wanted to. You don't have to do any of this coding anymore, and you don't have to deal with all the mistakes that come with coding, because oh man, that's a nightmare, because when it comes to coding, like there was like little parts, you fix this, you do this one thing, and then it like ruins this other thing. You have to go fix this and fix that, and everything just had to kind of come together. But now you don't really have to do that, since the things do it all for you, the websites. And
Shopify comes by.
Oh, there's Shopify as well, yeah. Shopify is like that's the one we use here for our for Kabartsi here, and Shopify already has like a lot of things for you already pre-made, as far as like your shopping cart, everything from the payments, everything from the hosting, and there's a lot of things that are already taken care of for you. You just kind of have to, get your template and just put everything up, and it'll be up and running like really, really quickly. And so you have that, you have a lot of options as far as like the website goes, but you just have to like consider that, does it match your intention? Is that what you want? Do you want people to, look through your entire website and do you have a lot to offer? Do you have a lot of things to offer? Like in our case, we sell jewelry. We have a lot of jewelry. We have a lot of lines. So obviously it makes sense that we have a website. We can't just have a landing page that covers all of that, because, a landing page is just too small to be able to fit all the products that we sell. But if you just have like one course, like just say you have like a specific like a course that you teach people how to do something, and that's all you have, then you're much better off doing a landing page, because you just have like one course, and that's really what you want people to do. You want people to buy that course. You don't want them to go and wander off and start looking at your blogs and stuff like that. And I think the best thing here is to have both. If you're able to get both up and running, have a website for people to go and know more about you, and then once in a while create some landing pages that can focus on one specific product. And so that's kind of what a digital marketer does. They have specific landing pages where they give you free resources, and then they have their entire website where you can go through their blog, you can go through their products, you can go through a bunch of stuff they offer. But they have a lot of stuff to offer, so it makes sense that they have a website.
Very, very nice. There's a lot more to talk about website, but we did about an hour and a half or more today, and we're almost to the end. There's one or two more really good questions still coming towards your way. So next is, we think of today's consumer. What does consumer really mean? Where do they buy? How do they buy? And why is it important?
The consumer is, as the name implies, they're going to consume something. And obviously your goal is for them to consume your content, to consume whatever it is that you have to offer. And so as far as where do they buy, I don't have any specific research here to show you guys or anything, or as far as a graph goes, but I would say, it really depends on what you're selling. It depends on you really have to take that into consideration. What are you selling? You're selling a service, sharing a product, and, there's a lot of financial things you have to really assess, because, if you're doing online, you have to consider the shipping cost, and you have to consider, is it going to be profitable? So, but where do they buy? They buy online and they buy in person, man, and how do they buy? I think that's that's a more important question as far as marketing. How do they buy? And I think people buy based on emotions, man. They buy based on how your brand makes them feel and how your product and service makes them feel. They're really trying to. A lot of consumers are really just trying to fix a problem, like we said. And businesses are really a solution. They're really solutions to a problem, and that's really what it should be. So how do they buy? They're just trying to feel better. They're trying to get rid of some sort of a bad emotion that they may be feeling. They don't want to feel depressed. Maybe they want to feel happy. Maybe they want to feel they're better than others. I don't know. There's just so many emotions that people can feel, and people buy based on emotions. They just want to release some stress. There's just so much of it. And the reason why it's so important is because when you're doing your marketing, you want to base your marketing on that emotion. So you want to let them know that you're going to take them from this, whatever negative emotion, and you're going to take them to a more positive emotion. So you want to let them know that that's the journey they're about to go into once they interact with your content. So that's why it's so important that you know who your audience is and what problem you're trying to solve, because that has to be reflected in your content as well. People have to know okay, this person, that's what they do. You have to know that right away, and that's why. And we can go deeper into that, but there are exercises that can help you. Break down your product or service, to a level where it's extremely understandable. You have to simplify it for the customer. The consumer themselves. They don't have you only have a few seconds to hook them. Whether it's on social media or email. They gotta know exactly what your intention is. They gotta know what problem you're trying to solve. And they gotta know that. They don't have time to be reading through your very complicated whatever it is that you're doing. They don't have the time for that.
That's my wife.
And they have to be very clear as far as what it is. So definitely, it's extremely important that you know that.
Yeah, there is a lot to take under consideration when it comes to consumer, because after all, when you're building the website, when you're building the social media, when you're building presenting your product, and whatever you're doing, what we're talking about, end of the day, it's about about the consumer, which is your customer, and you have to keep your customer happy. How to do it, and these are all mechanics where you need to learn a little bit. If you don't understand sales, then maybe you need to go to a course. You take some lessons about marketing. That is very, very important component about how it's going to work for you. Like, you have to understand your product, so we'll be talking about that again. Like, like we said, there's so much to talk about. And then I think we're at the last question, which is, today's world requires new mindset. Is this part of it?
Yeah.
Social media, this world is part of it.
Definitely social media is part of the new world, of course. But marketing itself, I think, you can take marketing even outside of like social media and outside of like the business world. And you can apply marketing to pretty much every aspect of your life because, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have to know how to generate attention. That's like a given. You have to know how to do that. Whether you're applying for a new job or you're trying to, impress that one other individual, you're marketing yourself. You're always marketing in some shape or form. You're trying to get attention. You're trying to get someone interested in listening to what you have to say. So marketing is extremely, extremely important. And that's something I learned, like I actually feel like marketing sort of like changed my life in that aspect, because I didn't quite understand like how marketing, how important it was until I started to actually integrate it into other parts of my life. And I started to see like it's kind of required that you do that because nowadays there's just so much distractions in this world, and if you're not able to grab the attention of the individual who you're trying to speak to, it makes it very hard for you to be listened to. And then a lot of people, they give up, because, and this is kind of sad, because there's a lot of people who have like great messages who want to be heard, but because they don't understand marketing, people just they just don't want to listen to these people because and the thing is that it's not that your content is bad, but you need to understand how to adjust that content so that person is willing to listen. And so really marketing, I think, is really about making that connection. You're trying to make a connection with that other individual, and you have to do it. If you have a message, if you have something out there that you want the world to know, you have to learn marketing, because marketing is what's going to get you the attention and what's going to generate the interest so that people want to hear what you have to say. This even applies for like now in these times. Who's getting all the attention? Our president, man. That guy is crazy, man. Trump is a fool, man. That guy, as a marketer, man, the guy is good, man. It's fantastic. He's using marketing tactics like crazy. Like, as a marketer, I can spot them all. And it's like crazy.
Right. Yeah, he's on the front lines, and he is marketing himself like crazy. So one last thing I want to add to everything we talked about, because I recently roaming through digital marketer website, I realized I came across all this organization type of templates, all kinds of things to organize yourself, what to write, what to market, and how to use all the social media and everything. I feel like that's such an important component of everything we talked about. And we are believer of we talk about always write down everything, organize yourself, and so you remember to do, or use the calendar, to put dates on it, and to follow yourself, make yourself accountable for what you want to do, hold yourself accountable. So organization and how people could learn a little bit about this and how important this is.
As far as organizing their
your ads, the marketing, your ads, and your
So there's these things called the social media calendars, and I use this for the company right now. And the way those work is that, well, I don't know if I should go into detail as far as how that works, but, well, we might get into detail actually in a later podcast, but generally the way it works is that you remember, you're trying to cover your entire funnel, right? So you want the top of the funnel, you want the bottom of the funnel, and you want the middle and the bottom. So the calendar is there so that you don't just throw these out like randomly. So you want to structure your weeks in a way where, like, the first 3 days you might give people top of the funnel content, so they're getting content, and free content, and then maybe like somewhere around Thursday you have them download something, that's either it's free or maybe it costs like $7 or something, and then like at the end of the week, maybe through email marketing, you might have them actually buy something. You might just try to sell them something, and then in the next week you kind of repeat the same thing. You give them more free content, you give them middle, so it's all like top, middle, and bottom of the funnel. And the thing is that you want to keep a good calendar just so you keep track of what you're putting out there, as opposed to just throwing bottom of the funnel content here and then, top of the funnel, and then like maybe you're throwing too much of the bottom of the funnel that you're trying to sell them all the time, and so that might annoy people, and then you might start losing followers. And if you don't have a calendar, you might not even know why. You might be thinking that you as the marketer, you know that your product is awesome and that it's great and that people are going to take so much value out of it, but the consumer might just feel a little bit harassed. They may feel like, hey man, this person is just trying to sell me all the time, and like, it's getting kind of annoying. So so the reason why you want to keep track of that is because get yourself organized, is because you can keep track of how much free content you're putting out there, how much of the middle funnel you're putting out there, how much you're actually selling. Does it make sense for you to start selling, or do you need to put out more content? And you can adjust this, depending on what your business is and what your experience is and everything. But it's very easy to make. Just take the days of the week and then just say, okay, on Monday I'm gonna put out a post on Facebook, and be very specific too. I'm gonna go on Facebook. I'm gonna post I don't know, a picture that's gonna say this and that. This is the caption for the picture. This is that. I'm gonna post it at this time, and then it's gonna go out there. Then maybe on YouTube I'm gonna put out this video. This video is gonna be with this. My goal with that video is for people to interact with it and share it and stuff like that. And I want to post it at this time, and it's gonna say this thing on the description. Is gonna use these keywords and stuff like that. And that's pretty much like the simple version. Of course, we can go into detail how to create a very structured one.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to come back and write a few different questionnaires, and where we can go a little bit specific and give a little more value to the followers that we have. And this is great. It's been amazing. I love listening about all this. I hope they're gonna find this really valuable to extract a lot of value from it. And I will be having a lot of questions regarding about social media to you later on. And everyone's gonna watch this, or they will just watch it. If you guys have any questions, leave comments down below. I know we'll be here for you guys, available to assist you with anything that we can. After all, this podcast is about helping, about putting value out, and we're here to do that. And this was amazing. I love hearing about this stuff. I'll have so many more questions, and I'll put it down for you to come out. Every Saturday we're here doing the podcast, Develop Your Mindset podcast, and I'll be asking a lot more questions to Luis to be more specific week. If you guys like this content, please hit likes, and, subscribe, tell your friends to be here next week. We're definitely going to be talking about a little bit more specific, more detail about, we go dive in a little bit deeper and deeper. This rabbit hole is like very, very deep. So we'll definitely start from like going above ground next week. And there will be so much more valuable content coming up for next Saturday. Yeah.
All right. So we have like about a minute left. So
yeah. Well,
it was awesome. It was great to have been able to share all this information with you guys, and I can't wait to go a little bit deeper into some of these things because it can get very, very interesting and very analytical. So yeah, definitely. And of course, after you guys watch this video on YouTube, there's going to be links down below so you guys can check out all of our social medias, and of course our website will be down there so you guys can know more about us. And yeah, it was an honor to have answered all your questions. And yeah,
thank you.
About 20 seconds left.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful, amazing day.
Yeah, you too, man, and everybody out there.